What's up, everybody? My name is Zach Pasquarel, and I am super passionate about teaching you how to start an online bookkeeping business with no experience in less than 30 days. I know exactly how you can do it because I did it 3 years ago. I get a lot of questions. People ask me not only how do you start a bookkeeping business, but then when you get your first client, what do I do? How do I onboard my first client? I'm going to touch on that in this video. If you're still struggling to get your first client, I have a ton of other videos that teach you how to get your first client. So if you're struggling with learning bookkeeping or QuickBooks, or if you're struggling with marketing and sales, I have a lot of other videos that teach you those things specifically. This video is going to be more for people who have already started doing marketing and sales and you're about to get your first client. I teach you everything you need to know how to onboard that first client. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to talk about is first, I'm going to briefly explain how to start an online bookkeeping business. Then I'm going to talk about three things: booking the consultation, landing the sale, and then finally completing the onboarding process. Okay, we're not going to waste any time. Let's jump right into it. First of all, I'm going to talk about starting a bookkeeping business, and it's a 4-step process. I'm not really going to go too much into it. First, you have to learn bookkeeping in QuickBooks. Then you have to learn how to do marketing and sales. And third, you have to deliver A+ customer service. And fourth, and most importantly, you have to work really, really hard. I throw that in there because I feel like so many people on the internet are promoting start a business. It's so easy. You can chill, you can work anywhere, you can hang out at the beach. And all of that might be kind of true, but I don't want to forget about the fact that this requires a ton of hard work. So I want to be honest and transparent with you. In the beginning, you're going to have to work really hard. Okay, now let's talk about booking the consultation. There's a few things I want to touch on here. You have to be resilient when it comes to booking a consultation because you're going to get a bunch of people who might seem like they're interested, but very few people actually end up booking a consultation with you, and then very few people actually end up signing on and paying with you. So you need to be resilient because you're going to hear a lot of no's, you're going to get a lot of people who don't respond, and that's okay. That's all part of the onboarding process. So first of all, in order to book a consultation at all, you need to do sales and marketing. So for sales, real quick, you have to be selling every single day and for the first month. If you need help on creating social media marketing content, I actually have a full calendar. I teach you everything you need to know. I actually give you 30 days of legitimate posts that I would post if I were starting a bookkeeping business. You can go to my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store. I'll also put it in the description of this video. I strongly recommend check that out if you're struggling to come up with social media marketing content. But sales, you need to be selling every single day consistently for the first month, and then for the next 3 months, and then for the next 6 months. You get the idea. You never stop selling. You need to have a calendar. So whenever you do send your DMs or your emails or your phone calls to prospective clients, the few people who do respond and who say that they're interested, the best thing for me is I will give them my phone number and say, sure, call me anytime, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Here's my phone number. Or here is a link to my calendar and you can schedule a meeting directly on the calendar. I have a 10-minute meeting. It's actually directly on my website. It's open for anybody to use, and prospective clients can go there very easily. They enter in their name, their email address, their phone number, and then boom, they are on my calendar and I will call them at whatever time they scheduled their meeting. So have a calendar. It makes scheduling so much easier. Like I said, you got to be resilient and you have to prepare for disappointment. So sales is a very difficult thing to do. So just be prepared. It's normal for everybody to say no to you in the first 29 days. And then boom, all of a sudden on your 30th day, you might book that consultation. You might land that sale. So just be resilient. Just know we have all been there. We have all done that. I have been denied hundreds of times, but there are people out there who genuinely need your service. So never give up, be resilient, and prepare yourself for disappointment. Now, the one thing that I can recommend, especially early on in the process, you're going to become obsessed with 1 or 2 people who show interest, but you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're probably going to annoy that other person if you constantly follow up with them. So my advice to you is be resilient, be organized, but move on. What I mean by that, if day 5 you've set your 50 friend requests and you've sent out all your DMs on day 5, but you remember that guy from day 4 who responded to your email, You're going to be tempted to follow back up with them or check to see if they responded to you or check to see if they read your message. But the best way to land a new client is to continue selling tomorrow, is to move on. Don't worry about the people who piqued interest in the past. Obviously, be resilient, follow up with them, but don't get hyper-focused on the few people that show interest, because that might distract you and hold you back from moving on and continuing to sell. So just because a couple people show interest, don't hyper-focus on them. You can't forget about the 50 other people who you need to call the next day. So be prepared to move on from people who might show interest but never end up booking a consultation. Okay, third thing I want to talk about, prepare to land the sale. So you've done the sales and you've learned bookkeeping in QuickBooks, you've done the sales and marketing, you finally booked the consultation. Now it's time for the sale. This is literally the point that we've been waiting for the past 30 days. We've worked so hard to get to this point. A lot of people mess it up. I'm going to tell you how to succeed. Okay, so we are problem solvers. That's the whole nature of our business. We provide services and we solve people's problems. Their problem is that their bookkeeping is probably unorganized. What we do is we solve their problems. So the first thing you have to do is you have to be confident whenever you deliver this sales pitch. And if you're not confident right now, the best way to get confident is to practice. You can record yourself in front of your camera, or you can give the presentation in front of your dog, or in front of your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or your mom, or your dad, or your friend from high school, or the neighbor at the park. Like, it doesn't matter. You just got to practice your sales pitch. The best way to do it is to just continue practicing, and that's how you're going to gain confidence. Now, be honest on your sales pitch. If they want you to do something that you don't think you can do, there's no point in lying to them and over-promising and then under-delivering. You're going to stress yourself out. You're going to frustrate your client. You're going to get a bad review. They're going to be unhappy, and it's not going to work out for no reason other than the fact that you might have felt like you were desperate to land that client. So be honest during the sales call. If you can't do it, or if you don't want to do it, be honest. There are plenty of fish out in the sea. I know it might not feel like that right now because this might be your first sales call, but don't stress yourself out. Don't promise to do something that you can't really do. Be specific and be simple. So that kind of ties into what you cannot do. Be specific with what you can do. So I don't do taxes. I don't do payroll. I tell everybody that. I do bookkeeping. I do 3 things. I categorize your transactions, I reconcile your accounts, and I generate your financial statements. That's specific, and that's pretty simple. Most people, when they hear me say that, they say, oh my goodness, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need. I say, cool, that's exactly what I do. Let's work together. So you solve their problem. Now, the last part about this is the quote. Everyone's going to ask, okay, cool, but how much does this cost? Here's what I always say. Feel free to rewind after I say this and write this down verbatim. I always say, I can't give you an exact quote, but what I can tell you is that my range is anywhere from $250 per month all the way up to $2,500 per month. I'd imagine you're going to be somewhere in the middle. My average client pays between like $400 and $600. However, like I said, I can't give you an exact quote. But in order to give you a quote, I just need your 3 most recent bank statements, or if you already have QuickBooks Online, you can just invite me to your QuickBooks Online account, and then I can give you an exact quote for how much bookkeeping is going to be per month. I don't bill hourly, I bill a fixed rate per month. Okay, finally, check out my sales pitch script. It's on my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store. I outline everything that you need to talk about, literally word for word, in this sales pitch script. You can actually have this sales pitch up on the computer screen whenever you book your first call. And you can just follow the words that I write verbatim. Super helpful. It's the exact same sales script that I use. Okay, we're almost done. Onboarding process. Step number 4, the last thing we're going to talk about, the onboarding process. So your client, you did the marketing, you did the sales, you booked the call, you landed the sale, you quoted them. Now, onboarding process. This is all about speed and organization. They have said yes, so now you need to be quick. Don't give them time to change their mind. Don't give them time to shop around and find a new bookkeeper. Be quick and stay organized. First of all, you need to learn how to quote. So once they send you those 3 most recent bank statements, or once they invite you to their QuickBooks account, you need to develop a process for quoting people. I will typically just count up all of their transactions for the 3 most recent months, and then that is their monthly bookkeeping fee. Because if you take the 3 most recent months, add up the transactions, divide them by 3, that is your average number of transactions per month, but I multiply average monthly transactions by 3. So skip the in-between steps and just add up the 3 most recent months of transactions, and that would be your monthly bookkeeping quote. Keep in mind, I do it for checking accounts, savings accounts, and credit card accounts, all transactions. Whenever I got started, I was only billing $2 per transaction. So if you're brand new and if you are desperate to get the client, maybe bill them $2 per transaction, somewhere in between $2 and $3. My bare minimum is $200. So even if you have 10 transactions, I'm not going to onboard a new client for $30 a month. That would just be ridiculous. So no matter what, I'm charging you $200 a month. Okay, so you need an invitation to their QuickBooks Online account. So develop a system for an automated email to go out to people who want to give you access. That way you just press a couple buttons and you send them an automatic email. I even have a little PDF where I send people like, hey, here are instructions on how you can invite me to your QuickBooks Online account. Okay, 2 more things. PandaDoc. So I use PandaDoc to electronically sign my client agreement. When I got started, I did not have a client agreement. I just kind of started working with people. But the client agreement does a couple things. First of all, it protects you. That way, if there are any discrepancies or miscommunications, you can always revert back to the client agreement. And also, it adds a layer of legitimacy to you and your business. Like, oh, wow, this guy isn't just some random person off the street. Like, he actually has a business. He actually has a client agreement that we signed. Probably his attorney drew it up. When in reality, you can just go to my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store. I'm telling you guys, I got all the documents for you. Check out my bookkeeping service agreement template. Super helpful. You feel free to use the exact same template that I use. And then finally, to wrap it all up, once they agree to the quote, send them an invoice. Bill them upfront. So if you were to start working with me and I was going to start doing your bookkeeping for the month of September, I'll send you an invoice on September 1st or as soon as we start working together. And I'm not going to do any of your bookkeeping until you pay that invoice. So invoice people quickly as soon as they accept the quote, and then make sure they pay upfront. All right, in conclusion, 4 steps here. First of all, you gotta learn how to start a bookkeeping business. I'm assuming you're already there. Second of all, you gotta book the consultation. Get a calendar link and send cold DMs on social media every single day. Finally, you gotta land the sale. Download my sales script, practice it, learn how to talk to people, be confident, and then finally, complete the onboarding process. Learn how to quote, send them your client agreement through PandaDoc, and finally, to wrap it all up, send them their invoice in a timely manner. Okay, that's it. Here's my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. And then check out my store. I also offer consultations. If you want to chat with me one-on-one, there's a link in the description of this video. Schedule a consultation with me. And then finally, comment on this video if you have any questions or if you want me to bring up something in the next video, or you can send me an email. I'd be happy to help you guys out.